Okay, so we're live, and we'll jump right into it. Here's a poem called Growing Old by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. The days grow shorter, the nights grow longer, the headstones thicken along the way, and life grows sadder, but love grows stronger for those who walk with us day by day. The tear comes quicker, the laugh comes slower, the courage is lesser to do and dare, and the tide of joy in the heart falls lower and seldom covers the reefs of care. But all true things in the world seem truer, and the best things of earth seem best, and the better things of earth seem best, and friends are dearer as friends are fewer, and love is all as our sun dips west. Then let us clasp hands as we walk together, and let us speak softly in low, sweet tone, for no man knows on the morrow whether we two pass on or but one alone. Growing Old, Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Speaking of old, here is William Butler Yeats. When you are old and gray and full of sleep and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read and dream of the soft look your eyes once had and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace and loved your beauty with love false or true. But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you and loved the sorrows of your changing face. And bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly how love fled and paced upon mountains overhead and hid his face amid a crowd of stars. William Butler Yeats, When You Are Old. Lord Byron, She Walks in Beauty. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek and o'er that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron. Here's John Donne. What's going on, Donnie? Death, be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For those whom thou thinkest thou dost overthrow die not, poor Death, nor yet canst thou kill me. From rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be much pleasure, then from thee much more must flow, and soonest our best men with thee do go, rest of their bones and soul's delivery. Thou art slave to fate, chance, kings and desperate men, and dost with poison, war, and sickness dwell, and poppy or charms can make us sleep as well, and better than thy stroke. Why swellest thou then? One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die. Death Be Not Proud by John Donne. Did we? No, that was John Donne. Okay. Here's John Clare. I am. I am. Yet what I am no one cares or knows. My friends forsake me like a memory lost. I am the self-consumer of my woes. They rise and vanish in oblivious host, like shades in love and death's oblivion lost. And yet I am, and live with shadows tossed into the nothingness of scorn and noise, into the living sea of waking dreams, where there is neither sense of life nor joys, but the vast shipwreck of my life's esteems. And in the dearest that I loved the best are strange, nay, rather stranger than the rest. I long for scenes where man has never trod, a place where woman never smiled or wept, there to abide with my Creator, God, and sleep as I in childhood sweetly slept, untroubling and untroubled where I lie, the grass below, above the vaulted sky. I Am by John Clare. Here's one by Spencer Mike Free called The Human Touch. 'Tis the human touch in this world that counts, the touch of your hand and mine, which means far more to the fainting heart than shelter and bread and wine. For shelter is gone when the night is o'er, and bread lasts only a day, but the touch of the hand and the sound of the voice sing on in the soul alway. Spencer Michael Free, The Human Touch. Here is Joyce Kilmer, Trees. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast, a tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, a tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair, upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. Joyce Kilmer, Trees. Honey Child. I don't know if I've done it in Southern. I've done it before. I've done it a couple times, just like as on TikTok. But it's what you ought to do. If you like, if you could comment on any of my posts, what I can do is like reply to that, so it'll say, "Can you please do Dylan Thomas in Southern?" And that way, I can reply to it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that would be fun. I don't think I've done it before in Southern, but that's a good one. I really like that one. Here is Sea Fever by John Masefield. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky. And all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by, and the wheels kick and the wind's song and the white sails shaking, and a gray mist on the sea's face and a gray dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying, and the flung spray and the blown spume and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way and the whale's way, with the winds like a whetted knife. All I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and a quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trick's over. John Masefield, Sea Fever. If you're a sailor, then you know what that's all about. Roger that. Okay, good deal. Good deal. Yeah. If you do that, I can reply to it I would like to do that. Um, let's see. I'm just thumbing through this book here. Here we go. The Inner Man by Plato. Beauty depends on simplicity. I mean the true simplicity of a rightly and nobly ordered mind and character. He is a fool who seriously inclines to weigh the beautiful by any other standard than that of the good. The good is the beautiful. Grant me to be beautiful in the inner man. Plato, The Inner Man. A Psalm of Life by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, sorry. Oh, Marisa, thank you. That was a lovely little snippet. I suppose he wrote it in Koine Greek and not in English, but it was still good in English. But this one was written in English. A Psalm of Life, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Tell me not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream. For the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are not what they seem. Life is real, life is earnest, and the grave is not its goal. Dust thou art, to dust returnest, was not spoken of the soul. Not enjoyment and not sorrow is our destined end or way, but to act that each tomorrow finds us farther than today. Art is long, and time is fleeting, and our hearts, though stout and brave, still like muffled drums are beating funeral marches to the grave. In the world's broad field of battle, in the bivouac of life, be not like dumb driven cattle, be a hero in the strife. Trust no future, howe'er pleasant, let the dead past bury its dead. Act in the living present, heart within, and God o'erhead. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. Footprints that perhaps another, sailing o'er life's solemn main, a forlorn and shipwrecked brother, seeing, shall take heart again. Let us then be up and doing, with a heart for any fate, still achieving, still pursuing, learn to labor and to wait. That was A Psalm of Life by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both and be one traveler. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, and leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. The Road Not Taken, Robert Frost. You Never Can Tell by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. You never can tell when you send a word like an arrow shot from a bow, by an archer blind, be it cruel or kind, just where it may chance to go. It may pierce the breast of your dearest friend, tipped with its poison or balm. To a stranger's heart in life's great mart, it may carry its pain or its calm. You Never Can Tell by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Invictus by William Ernest Henley. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. William Ernest Henley, Invictus. Edgar A. Guest, Defeat. No one is beat till he quits. No one is through till he stops. No matter how hard failure hits, no matter how often he drops, a fellow's not down till he lies in the dust and refuses to rise. Fate can slam him and bang him around and batter his fame till he's sore, but she never can say that he's downed while he bobs up serenely for more. A fellow's not dead till he dies, nor beat till he no longer tries. That was Defeat by Edgar A. Guest. Rudyard Kipling, If. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build 'em up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss and lose, and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son. If by Rudyard Kipling. Here is one, Pity Me Not by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Pity me not because the light of day at close of day no longer walks the sky. Pity me not for beauties passed by from field and thicket as the year goes by. Pity me not the waning of the moon, nor that the ebbing tide goes out to sea, nor that a man's desire is hushed so soon, and you no longer look with love on me. This have I known always, Love is no more than the wide blossom which the wind assails, than the great tide that treads the shifting shore, strewing fresh wreckage gathered in the gales. Pity me that the heart is slow to learn what the swift mind beholds at every turn. Pity Me Not by Edna St. Vincent Millay. The Hollow Men by T.S. Eliot. We are the hollow men. We are the stuffed men, leaning together, headpiece filled with straw. Alas, our dried voices when we whisper together are quiet and meaningless as wind in dry grass, or rats' feet over broken glass in our dry cellar. Shape without form, shade without color, paralyzed force, gesture without motion. Those who have crossed with direct eyes to death's other kingdom remember us, if at all, not as lost, violent souls, but only as the hollow men, the stuffed men. Eyes I dare not meet in dreams, in death's dream kingdom, these do not appear. There the eyes are sunlight on a broken column. There is a tree swinging and voices in the wind singing more distant and more solemn than a fading star. Let me be no nearer in death's dream kingdom. Let me also wear such deliberate disguises, rat's coat, crow skin, crossed staves in a field, behaving as the wind behaves, no nearer, not that final meeting in the twilight kingdom. This is the dead land. This is cactus land. Here the stone images are raised. Here they receive the supplication of a dead man's hand under the twinkling of a faded star. Is it like this in death's other kingdom, walking alone at the hour when we are trembling with tenderness, lips that would kiss, form prayers to broken stone? The eyes are not here. There are no eyes here in this valley of dying stars, in this hollow valley, this broken jaw of our lost kingdoms. In this last of meeting places, we grope together and avoid speech, gathered on this beach of the tumid river, sightless unless the eyes reappear as the perpetual star, multifoliate rose of the death's twilight kingdom, the hope only of empty men. Here we go round the prickly pear, prickly pear, prickly pear. Here we go round the prickly pear at 5 o'clock in the morning. Between the idea and the reality, between the motion and the act falls the shadow, for thine is the kingdom. Between the conception and the creation, between the emotion and the response falls the shadow. Life is very long. Between the desire and the spasm, between the potency and the existence, between the essence and the descent falls the shadow, for thine is the kingdom. For thine is life, for thine is this is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends, not with a bang, but a whimper. The Hollow Men, T.S. Eliot. Thank you, Harriet. I am really glad that you made it back to New Zealand. Glad you made it back safe. Thank you, Heidi. I appreciate that. Somebody was asking for oh, you bet, brother. Yeah, that's great. Undead Papa here is referring to um, a poem you read on your profile, and you just did a great job. You did great. You should just keep doing that. I think the more poetry you put out, anybody puts out, just, I don't know, makes the world a prettier place, because it sure can be ugly and nasty at times. Here's one, Alfred Lord Tennyson, Crossing the Bar. Sunset and evening star, and one clear call for me, and may there be no moaning of the bar when I put out to sea. But such a tide as moving seems asleep, too full for sound and foam, when that which drew from out the boundless deep turns again home. Twilight and evening bell, and after that the dark, and may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. For though from out our bourne of time and place the flood may bear me far, I hope to see my pilot face to face when I have crossed the bar. That was Alfred Lord Tennyson, Crossing the Bar. Oh, fantastic. Great job. Keep it up. I'm telling you, keep it up. You can't have too much practice. I mean, that's why I do this every night. Like, I do this for a living, but this is my practice. You know what I mean? I'm always practicing. Let's see. Here's one. Christina Rosetti, Remember. Remember me when I am gone away, gone far away into the silent land, when you can no more hold me by the hand, nor I half turn to go, yet turning stay. Remember me when no more day by day you tell me of our future that you planned. Only remember me. You understand it will be too late to counsel then or pray. Yet if you should forget me for a while and afterwards remember, do not grieve. For if the darkness and corruption leave a vestige of the thoughts that I once had, better by far you should forget and smile than that you should remember and be sad. Remember by Christina Rosetti. These last several have been downers. That's because I'm in the death section of this book. I Have a Rendezvous with Death by Alan Seeger. That's the next downer. I have a rendezvous with death at some disputed barricade, when spring comes back with rustling shade and apple blossoms fill the air. I have a rendezvous with death when spring brings back blue days and fair. It may be he shall take my hand and lead me into his dark land and close my eyes and quench my breath. It may be I shall pass him still. I have a rendezvous with death on some scarred slope of battered hill, when spring comes round again this year and the first meadow flowers appear. God knows 'twere better to be deep pillowed in silk and scented down, where love throbs out in blissful sleep, pulse nigh to pulse and breath to breath, where hushed awakenings are dear. But I've a rendezvous with death at midnight in some flaming town, when spring trips north again this year, and I to my pledged word am true. I shall not fail that rendezvous. I was just talking to my little brother about keeping your word earlier today, and we were just talking about that, and that's powerful. And I to my pledged word am true. I shall not fail that rendezvous. A lot of people, they break their word so easy, so quick. The word means nothing to them. I like that. Let's see. I think it's time for a little Mary Oliver. I Looked Up by Mary Oliver. I looked up, and there it was, among the green branches of the pitch pines. Thick bird, a ruffle of fire trailing over the shoulders and down the back, color of copper, iron, bronze, lighting up the dark branches of the pine. What misery to be afraid of death. What wretchedness to believe only in what can be proven. When I made a little sound, it looked at me. Then it looked past me. Then it rose, the wings enormous and opulent, and as I said, wreathed in fire. I Looked Up by Mary Oliver. Oh, hey, Tango Locks, how's it going? The Kingfisher by Mary Oliver. The kingfisher rises out of the black wave like a blue flower. In his beak he carries a silver leaf. I think this is the prettiest world, so long as you don't mind a little dying. How could there be a day in your whole life that doesn't have its splash of happiness? There are more fish than there are leaves on 1,000 trees. And anyway, the kingfisher wasn't born to think about it, or anything else. When the wave snaps shut over his blue head, the water remains water. Hunger is the only story he has ever heard in his life that he could believe. I don't say he's right, neither do I say he's wrong. Religiously, he swallows the silver leaf with its broken red river, and with a rough and easy cry I couldn't rouse out of my thoughtful body if my life depended on it, he swings back over the bright sea to do the same thing, to do it as I long to do something, anything, perfectly. The Kingfisher by Mary Oliver. I'm glad to hear that. I'm doing very well, doing a little evening voice acting practice. And if you're into voice acting, reading poetry out loud is the best voice acting practice there is. And you get to make lots of new friends because a lot of people like poetry. And like Harriet, if it weren't for poetry, I wouldn't know Harriet down in New Zealand, who's clapping right now. And she's a poet, by the way. And one of these days, if she lets me, I'm going to read one of her poems on here. Yeah, it's a good time. It's fun to connect with other people that just appreciate. No, I am. See, that's the thing. Obviously, it won't be without you. If you post them to, uh, what do you call it? Instagram. To me, that's fair game. Fair game. You've put it out into the ether, and I shall pounce. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do it without your permission, obviously. But it's not like you haven't showed the world some of these. So it'll happen someday. Not today. Another day. Let's see. See if we can find. I'll write a rude one about you. You wouldn't dare. No, I know that you would, and that's a little scary to think about. Let's see. Oh, here's one. Another Mary Oliver. Yeah. September. Oh, you can't write a searing limerick about me. I don't know if I could handle it. Okay. I walk through a grove of pines and startle the nighthawk from the limb where it has been lying, resting or sleeping. The bird is similar in color to the gray limb and lies along, not across it, so it's almost invisible. On its hawk-like wings, it rises into the sky and vanishes. The nighthawk doesn't nest here, but only stops a few days on its long travels. I know this one must be tired of flight, and I am sorry to have disturbed it. The next day, walking the same woods, I approach with care. The bird is again resting on the limbs, its eyes shut. I back away and do not disturb it. The following year, almost to the day, I enter the pine woods and remember the nighthawk just in time to be cautious and silent. And the bird is there, in the same tree, on the same limb, in the pine woods that is so pretty and so restful, apparently to both of us. September by Mary Oliver. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.